Let's look at something real quick, and it's going to last over the lifetime of your martial arts, but it's also going to last as you study Pramek. And that is that your brain is a magnet. And your brain is going to attract all of this different stuff over time, and it's always going to be attracting new items and new items and new items. And this is all information that you should be getting whenever you're studying. The problem is that eventually when you have that much metal that's on a magnet, what happens? Eventually it loses its magnetism. And so you end up in a situation where you have a very weak magnet. And that weak magnet it can't get any more metal. So you have to do a couple of different things. You have to say, you know what? I'm going to cut out a bunch of this metal. I'm just going to cut it out, and then I can start to work with what I have. Or you can increase the strength of the metal or the magnet to turn the whole thing into one big magnet. And then build from there around it. And you have to just keep doing this. And this is the process of learning when you look at procrastination. I think the most popular reason that I hear from procrastination is I got better things to do. If it's that important to you, you don't have better things to do. You just haven't allotted the time to actually do it. A lot of times I think what it is that it's not fun, like I mentioned, or it's just so overwhelming people can't do it. So let's look at a couple of ways that you can break down that procrastination to make it a little bit more manageable. Break it down day by day, which with the new DLP guidelines that we're bringing out, you'll actually see broken down bi-weekly what you should actually be studying. So not bi-weekly, 2 times a week what you should actually be studying. So you have to break it down and break it down into sizable chunks. So when you guys are back and you're doing your DLP classes, then you need to be breaking down, as you'll see in this new guideline, break it down into chunks. And break it down into things that are manageable, so that instead of trying to read 5 chapters in 2 nights, you're reading 5 chapters over the course of a week and a half to 2 weeks. Plan out what you're going to train on. Work your plan your work, and do that. So you can start to remove those reasons, because then you tell yourself, shit, I only got 30 minutes today that I have to do this. And at the end of that 30 minutes, I'm going to reward myself with X. So I've got to get on this, and I've got to get it done. And you put it in there. What you'll eventually find is that you'll end up in there 45 minutes to an hour doing it, which happens to me all the time. So break it down into manageable chunks. Second thing, when you find yourself procrastinating too much, stop, quit, find something else to do. If you're working on the helix and you can't get those arm movements down, go over to the wedge and work on something. Go over to and, go over to the lever. It's your fucking life. So it's your life when it comes to martial arts and what you're going to study. When it starts to not become your life and you have to do a certain thing, then it doesn't become fun, you don't get the reward, so you want to stop doing it. So if something becomes not fun, don't do it. Come back to it. You've got like 80 years to be able to do this stuff. So make it a long-term process. Break it down, make it manageable. If it's not fun or you can't get it, stop doing it and come back to it. And the third thing is that have a support group around you. Get some students that push you a little bit, that make you go to class when you don't want to go to class. Come on the forum and discuss things and get people to push you a little bit. Hit me up. Man, I haven't really been training lately, and, I need some motivation for doing this. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to give you free videos all the time, but, if I got to push you a little bit, I will. The primary thing to remember is that it's your life, and if you make it fun and you make it manageable, and you have people around you that support you, you are less likely to procrastinate than if you don't have any fun with it, it's way too overwhelming, and nobody around you gives a shit. Then you're alone in your room trying to figure out how to do it. So, anyway, that's it. Instead of typing all that out, it's quicker just to shoot the video, give it to you guys, discuss it, and then I'll base off of that where we're at. That was just off the top of the head. Wasn't pre-planned or anything. I just wanted to knock it out before we quit filming today. Thanks, guys.